it's You have been warning at rallies recently that this election is rigged and that Hillary Clinton is in the process of trying to steal it from you. Your running mate, Governor Pence, pledged on Sunday that he and you, his words, will absolutely accept the result of this election. Today, your daughter Ivanka said the same thing. I want to ask you here on the stage tonight, do you make the same commitment that you will absolutely, sir, that you will absolutely accept the result of this election?
I will look at it at the time. I'm not looking at anything now. I'll look at it at the time. What I've seen is so bad. First of all, the media is so dishonest and so corrupt, and the pile-on is so amazing. The New York Times actually wrote an article about it that they don't even care. It's so dishonest, and they've poisoned the minds of the voters. But unfortunately for them, I think the voters are seeing through it. I think they're going to see through it. We'll find out on November 8th, but I think they're going to see through it.
But, sir, there's
if you look, excuse me, Chris, if you look at your voter rolls, you will see millions of people that are registered to vote. Millions. This isn't coming from me. This is coming from Pew Report and other places. Millions of people that are registered to vote that shouldn't be registered to vote. So let me just give you one other thing. So I talk about the corrupt media. I talk about the millions of people. Tell you one other thing. She shouldn't be allowed to run. She's guilty of a very, very serious crime. She should not be allowed to run. And just in that respect, I say it's rigged, because she should never, Chris, she should never have been allowed to run for the presidency based on what she did with emails and so many other things.
But, sir, there is a tradition in this country. In fact, one of the prides of this country is the peaceful transition of power, and that no matter how hard fought a campaign is, that at the end of the campaign, that the loser concedes to the winner. Not saying that you're necessarily going to be the loser or the winner, but that the loser concedes to the winner and that the country comes together in part for the good of the country. Are you saying you're not prepared now to commit to that principle?
What I'm saying is that I will tell you at the time. I'll keep you in suspense.
We are live at the Mystery Font in Minneapolis, Minnesota. After all, I am clearly having an episode of Mystery Font 42, Ope Intuit. The bit of glow narrative you saw was something of the falsehood. And now we have a song for M. Because it is time for citizens of the United States to petition generally for solidification of universal restoration of due process and habeas corpus at once. And so we are here within the spheres of hokum as the mystery font is resonant and able to withstand breaching the blood-brain barrier. We are in an abusive relationship, all of us, with the falsehood. And M is one of the falsehood's most trusted compatriots. We don't necessarily have any solid evidence that M, Stephen Miller, has necessarily even personally met the falsehood, they who have donned the falsehood. If there is really only one. But even without the falsehood, the age of falsehood donned by they who donned the falsehood, that age may survive if only through the aggressive revving of the engines of hatred that, if anything, Stephen Miller is really holding back quite a bit on, because he is a violent, horrible, right-wing extremist, an adherent of Hitler, and his recent speech cribbed from Joseph Goebbels at the Nazi Charlie Kirk's glazing memorial. I mean, really, it's reprehensible to deeply alter, I think in a lot of cases, to alter someone so drastically for public consumption, especially immediately upon death, to take the opportunity to cloak in there's no longer an evident structure of this person other than recordings now. But sadly, he was deeply corrupted by Ku Klux Klan cancer and worked to spread that. And it may be that M had Charlie Kirk killed. That does seem a fairly likely scenario. It's one of the more obvious scenarios that would be undertaken by a monarch of evil, such as M. Stephen Miller gave us kids in cages. Stephen Miller gave us COVID. We would have, if not for his recommendation, his steering, to keep from public view what Donald Trump knew about it as of January 20th, I believe, 2021. He knew, I think it was 28th. He knew on that day that it was communicated by breath, that it was deadly, far more than the flu, and that there was a lot we didn't know, of course. And advised that it would be the security threat of his presidency and defining. And he chose to say it wasn't a big deal and not advise people to have appropriate caution for weeks. 6 or so weeks, I believe, until we actually started to see action that stopped further communication of the disease, which was already here and ready to kill 1.2 million people. Because Stephen Miller allows and promulgates horrific condition in detention camps that are meant to be torture for people, because he wants, like Donald Trump, but for slightly different reasons, Stephen Miller wants to defile human beings. He wants people to see human beings treated like garbage, the way that he has always wanted to treat Latino and Hispanic people, the way he's always wanted to treat black people. He is a virulent, Hitler-worshipping racist and bigot. He has ruptured habeas corpus already. It is just shattered as hundreds of people remain and are still being sent in acts of extreme torture, like beyond cruel and unusual punishment. The thing is, this delirious, idiotic Nazi uses shocking boundary violations. Shocking boundary violations, like saying he can grab someone by the pussy, or saying that our neighbors are sending us rapists. Well, being caught in quote-unquote locker room speak, he maybe said something that he would not have been quite so specifically honest about. But typically these are projections. Him saying Mexico is sending us rapists is very clearly a guilty confession that that's how he sees opportunities and what opportunities he sees, what he thinks of as an opportunity. And shocking boundary violations do flummox us. They flummoxed Chamberlain, and he appeased Hitler, as we have done for 10 years. No one holds him to any boundary. No one says no who is given power to be in his sphere such that he would hear it. Many, apparently cowardly individuals, allow themselves to be a buffer between him and anyone who would rupture the perfect lack of any challenge to him. He is being enabled. He is being enabled like a grandfather who you just don't want to upset at dinner. But really, he shouldn't maybe even be at dinner. If Grandpa had targeted Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss for months or years and still refused to apologize, even after his stunningly dashing wingman, Rudy Giuliani, did a lot of the legwork to terrorize and ruin and destroy their lives. American citizens, loyal election workers doing their job and a good job at it. And under the scrutiny of terrorism from the first insurrectionist president whose father was a KKK member, card carrying. It is insane. And we need right now for the Supreme Court, given their ruling 9-0, that everyone here gets due process. We need to issue some kind of specific extended group habeas corpus for people like the third of Alligator Alcatraz's apparent defilees and detainees. As many as a third of them are gone. Have they been dropped into the ocean? It's time to confront them and make them explain themselves. Make them talk about where they're sending people, because they do not get to treat human beings like this. We need to register that, yes, the shocking boundary violations do continue to destroy our executive function and to try to do so more. But we can also learn to recognize them and remember we are able to be safe through a period even of attack, and we are going through a period of siege and attack that likely will escalate. And being able to remain calm and stick to the tenets that we believe in as human beings, that foster equality and equity and diversity and inclusion and access. We are one. We don't have to interact with everyone to be aware, to have some sense of Sonder that we have connection to everyone. It doesn't mean there's necessarily a lot of time to waste arguing with people who want to gaslight from a place of racism and bigotry, likely only to coerce and control and delay progress. We do have to address Stephen Miller and the Supreme Court and potentially legislatures, because habeas corpus, due process, are not just under attack, but are being dismantled. It is absolutely criminal. And Stephen Miller is conducting ethnic cleansing with the intent of destroying people's lives and of getting to play his most favorite game of murdering people of color and children because he is M. Adolph Eyes, Adolph Eyes. Every morning you greet me, small and white, clean and bright. You look happy to meet me. Blossom of snow may you bloom and grow, bloom and grow forever. Adolph Eyes, M. Adolph Eyes. M. Bless my homeland forever. I don't mean to desecrate the song, but utilize the opportunity to call Stephen Miller, or M, Adolph Eyes. I think it's time for us to do The Sound of Music, and with faithful lyrics. But I think it's probably not a bad thing to refer to M as Adolph Eyes. It's good probably to do it carefully to not be mistaken for Edelweiss, or Edelweiss, the name of the song. From The Sound of Music. But amidst hokum and related shocking boundary violations that we continue to endure and track and try to prepare for or throw off, it's a lot. It's a lot to just keep track on reality when there are truly webs of altered shared reality for people who believe as an item of quasi-faith things that are not provable by them or to them or have not been. I was performing in the street today, and as I'm carrying a sign frequently these days, and was carrying a sign critical of MAGA and of Donald Trump, there were reactions from people, mostly positive reactions from those who would say something. But it's truly truly insane how shocking boundary violations have flummoxed us largely. Don't be Stephen Miller. This menace is working to destroy habeas corpus, one of the most basic pieces, the most basic forms that make America America in our founding documents. Due process and habeas corpus, and this person wants to be who he is to an insurrectionist president who says he didn't do anything wrong. To someone directly in line with Stephen Miller's aims to sow an education system that is an entirely Ku Klux Klan indoctrination-based bed for Nazi thought. He says removing DEI procedures, or removing DEI as if DEI is like a fog or something. But not just certain priorities or procedures, but kind of a general scapegoated boogeyman area. And of course, what it really means is what Charlie Kirk said it meant, that he worries about someone's qualifications if he sees a black pilot. And that kind of lynch mobbing, trying to pick at a scab that's not a scab at all, it's just somebody's body, and you're trying to do damage and draw sympathy for your monstrosity. We can be better than the horrific criminals in our families, some of our families, who did these things, as well as the many who allowed it to happen and didn't want to get involved. And maybe just really in abject fear, but they didn't want to see. They wanted to not see. I think that's a shape that can happen. And today someone approached me and asked about why I was carrying the signs I was carrying, and I think protesting was the word she used. And when I mentioned fighting a coup essentially by the Confederacy, and mentioned that Charlie Kirk was a Nazi, and that Stephen Miller is a Nazi, she kind of didn't want to know. And I mentioned that people who choose to not see issues and atrocities going on so long as they're not being harmed or the trains run on time for them, that those people are the more passive version of why and how Nazi Germany happened. Some people don't want to smell the burning hair smell and really question where is that from, and that couldn't be. They just want to not see. Don't be a not see. You don't have to see everyone all the time universally right now. But we are creatures of kindness and meaning. We are all human. Stephen Miller wants to cultivate a different way of looking at people. Watch or recall any of the horrific tackling, smashing faces into the ground, John Wick revenge looking clan attacks that have a whiff of hegemony, not quite propriety, to them because of the Nazi Stephen Miller funneling and expecting hatred and minting it. It is terrorism. And working to attack habeas corpus is categorically insane or deeply wrong, maliciously destabilizing, and evil. Truly evil. Habeas corpus. Produce the body. Where are, for instance, all of the people who have been disappeared from Alligator Alcatraz? Where did you throw them to be digested? Have you already burned them? Are these people alive? We're dealing with monsters like M. You are in an abusive relationship. Shocking boundary violations are one common grooming tactic of a narcissist or dark triad personality. If someone in your life points into a camera knowing you'll be looking at the view screen and pulls their finger like a trigger, looking into your eyes, saying, I could shoot someone in the street and not lose anyone, it is a good indicator of a bad situation. You are in an abusive relationship. Who has leveraged and climbed upon a fog of falsehood? Who has donned the falsehood? Who is the falsehood? you are in an abusive relationship. Shocking boundary violations are one common grooming tactic of a narcissist or dark triad personality. If someone in your life points into a camera knowing you'll be looking at the view screen and pulls their finger like a trigger, looking into your eyes, saying, I could shoot someone in the street and not lose anyone, it is a good indicator of a bad situation. You are in an abusive relationship. Who has leveraged and climbed upon a fog of falsehood? Who has donned the falsehood? Who is the falsehood? We are the reality distortion fielding. A scoop troop. Keep your Darvo card handy and just slap it up over the visor, because the falsehood utilizes military grade hardware and software and some amount of savvy. Take care of yourself and be aware to not be looped in by Darvo. We are the reality distortion fielding, and hopefully we notice Darvo.